where we've been doing like all year. So it has been, now they're very used to doing more with it, because when we started at the beginning, it was more like what we saw in the last part where it was oral. Like we would get in our small group and we would plan, but we would do it every day. We do have a plan do review every day. It's in our schedule, and we have our little picture schedule over here. And so it's there. They know it's coming. They know what time it's, we move our little marker and they know, okay, it's planning time. We're going to plan, and then we're going to go to our center. So they have a choice where they're going, Now at this point of the year, we write it. They all have a dry erase board. Everybody gets up on the carpet, and then we're in a small group. I only have 12 kids. So I can get to all my kids because I have 12 kids. So I have 6 and my assistant has 6 in her group. And so I'll meet with those 6 that day, and then she'll meet with the others. We'll switch, so that we can both see our groups. But they all have their own dry erase board, and they will tell us where they're going, their plan. They draw out now because they can do it now. Before we did it more orally, and they would have a microphone. We have different props. They would have a little microphone and they would do their thing, and they tell you what are the area they're going to go. So they'll plan it and they draw it out, and they tell you, this is where I'm going and who I'm going to work with. This is what I'm going to need. We go through the whole thing. And then they go do their actual center, and they go because they planned it. At this point of the year now, they know what to do. So they look at their plan and they go do it, and then they decide. So we leave all the boards lying across my wall so they can see their plan from wherever they're at in the room, so that they know. And then when we come back, and when we clean up, then we come back and it's review time or recall time. They all get their board because they have their name on, so they all know. They go get their board, they sit down, and then we reflect on what we did. We go back into our small groups and we reflect, what did we do? And we use the microphone again. But like I said, I have 12, so it's easier to get through the thing. But I was like, I'm just gonna show you real quick because they're so proud. So they leave it there all day until we come back the next morning, they erase and we start again. But they have it, see, they all have done their little plans on their board. Like I can tell that little girl right there. I don't know if you can see it.
Right there. Now we see it.
Their little boy. Well, see, like this little girl right here went to the castle center. She was in the house area and she went to the castle, and she was going to have a friend, and she's going to be a fairy because she drew wings. So that's what she's going to do. She's going to pretend that she's a fairy, and then she had things, she's going to make a garden. So she went through the whole thing, and then she came back. Afterwards, they come back and they tell us, how did their plan go? Did they use the materials they thought they were going to use? Did they need to go get more materials? Did they actually need more helpers? Did they go get more friends? So they go through the whole thing. And then and they're all at different levels, if you could see the board. Like I have my one little boy who, this is all what he can write now because it's taken us forever to get it to write, sorry. But it can tell he has Legos. If you see that, he's going to build a track, that's the circle, with Legos, and he can write a C for his name. I'm like, okay, that's great. I can tell where you're going. That's great. I know where you're going. But most of them by now they can all write their name and they do it. So I love the fact that they can all write it now because I didn't have that aspect in before. We would just recall, but they would verbally tell me. And at this point, everybody's comfortable doing it now. So we don't really have a problem with that. But because I only have 12, we can do them each day, every day.
Veronica, do you mind me asking, what is one benefit that you feel that your students have experienced this year implementing the Plan Do Review?
It keeps them actually, like, they're more focused because they really want to go do what they said they were going to do. So they're like, okay, I really want to go plan this out, especially like the little girl. Because we made a castle because that's what they wanted. Because when we do our a dramatic area, there's not a kitchen right now. There's a cave over there and there's a castle because that's what the kids wanted. We were reading fairy tales and stuff, and I want a castle. Okay, fine. So we built them a castle. I don't know if you see it over there, but there's a castle over there. And then we made a cave. So they've been doing, and then they add on to stuff. They come and bring, they made a whole way to get to the castle with blocks and stuff. So they built a whole way to get to it. And they extended like to the entire room. So the entire room was a kingdom. And I'm like, okay. But so we were having fun. And then they said that they wanted us to play also, because, you know, we play with them also. And so I have fairy wings back here. Today we were fairies.
I want pictures.
They have, I think we did take pictures because Ms. Romero came in, so they were doing, but it's really brought out a lot more vocabulary, because even my nonverbal child, he was nonverbal at the beginning of the year. I mean, like really didn't speak at all. He couldn't, but like now that's the Lego child. But now he'll tell me, you know, Legos, track, then no thank you. Like that means he doesn't want to go. No, I'm not going to do this plan, but he'll come back and do it afterwards. He'll come back and do the review part. But it's gotten them into the routine, and now they're all writing. Everybody's writing now, and they can all, they can just verbalize more, and they feel more connected to each other because they can help each other with their plans and stuff. So it's really worked out for me. I love it.
Veronica, I like the way you do that with the boards, because that has a huge accountability piece with it too, because like you can really check on them when they're doing it as it's going on. And
yeah, and I like that thank you. What I really like too is like we put it along the board, because if they'll come back while they're playing and go fix something. They'll go say, oh, I added this, so they'll want to go do it. I'm like, it's okay, you know, you can do it at recall. But no, I mean, I let them do it because that's their, you know, they're thinking right now, like, I don't want to forget. So they go back and go write it and stuff. So that part has really, really been beneficial. The whole thing has been, because the oral part was really good because it got them all talking when we were doing that too. But so like now I was trying to add more to it. And I like the puppet things because my kids love puppets. You can't tell they're dramatic, right? Like, because they wanted a castle and they want me to be a fairy and everything. I don't know where they get that from, really. I don't know. But that part has really, really benefited, but I just want to add more for, you know, to them. See, but I asked them, I said, well, what else can we add to this that, you know, that would help y'all do whatever? And they'll tell me, like, they wanted the microphone. They're like, you always have the microphone. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Okay, let me give it to you. So like we passed this little microphone around, and then they made microphones out of pins. I'm like, all right, that works, you know, just because it feels like to them then like they feel more included, which is, hey, it's their room. So that's good. I like that.
yeah, and even for those, like Lucy said, those kids who wanted to go to the same one all the time, like, okay, well, you made a plan to go to castle. Well, why are you over here in the cave?
Why are you over here? Exactly. Why are you over here or whatever? And they're like, oh, okay. So they'll at least go over there. They'll be over there for at least half of the time, because then if they want to switch, they have to come do it on their board though, because you switched plans. So you switch plans. They'll come talk to me though, or they'll come talk to my assistant, because they already know that rule. If you're switching plans, you got to go, you know, tell me why, what happened, it didn't work out, what's going on. But they'll tell you. So they are very verbal. And if you walk in the room, they want to tell you. They'll come show you their board. Anybody who comes in, they're pretty good about that.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.